Redditors who have died and come back to life. What do you see?
Overwhelming peace and happiness. A bright, airy, and floating feeling.
My dad's heart stopped when he had a heart attack, and he had to be brought back to life. He kept the paper copy of the heart monitor, which showed he flatlined. He said he felt an overwhelming sensation of peace, like nothing he had felt before.
Not really the question, but I have had two grandfathers pass away recently. Both of them on their deathbeds have said that their mothers were there to take them.
Black void, peaceful, no body, but felt as if I was floating on my back in the ocean. Lots of waves. I knew I died, but I knew everything would be okay. Was maybe there for 20 to 30 seconds, but it felt like a few minutes. Then I jolted back to life.
Nursing in the ICU, we've had a lot of people try to die on us many times throughout the years, some successfully. One guy stood out to me. His heart stopped. We called a code and are working on him, and suddenly he comes to. We hadn't vented him yet, so he was able to talk, and he started screaming, "Don't let them take me, don't let them take me, they are coming." He was scared and yelling. Then he yelled a little more as we tried to calm him down, and he screamed, "No, no," and gestured towards the end of the bed and died again. We didn't get him back. It was seriously creepy. We called his son to tell him the news, and the son basically said, "Good, he was an SOB."
My sister died and said it was extremely peaceful. She said it was very loud, like a train station, and lots of talking, and she was stuck at this area that was like a curtain with lots of beautiful colors. Colors that you don't see in real life, according to her, and a man told her he was sorry, but she had to go back as it wasn't her time.
Not my story, but I think about it a lot. Years ago, I knew a guy who was working at a theater in New York in the 90s. Someone broke in to rob the place and stabbed him in the neck. He was clinically dead for something like 9 minutes before being resuscitated. He told me he felt consciousness slip into an alternate universe where he didn't die, that he did not make it in his original world, and now he lives here. You could chalk that up to a lot of things, but the eeriest part was his absolute and almost casual surety of it. When I asked her follow-up, it wasn't a matter of, "That's what I believe," it was, "That's what happened." I often find myself wondering if any of us ever really die.
My grandma, who none of us ever knew, she died in 1930. She told me to go back. I was in a coma for 2 weeks.
My spouse was dead for a couple of minutes one miserable night. She maintains that she saw nothing but only heard people talking about her like through a wall. The only thing she remembers for absolute certain was begging an ER nurse that she didn't want to die.
I didn't see it, but I heard a voice that sounded, at best, description, like a really angry howling wind, yelling at me that it wasn't my time yet. It scared me. I can still hear it like it happened yesterday.
I was in the hospital when it happened, and I died for a few seconds. Maybe up to 30 seconds, I don't remember how long exactly. This was a decade ago, and I was brought back with adrenaline. All I can remember is seeing a stone slab and hearing something like a wall crumbling. I don't know how else to explain it. It was a plain square-edged stone slab, and I couldn't see the other side of it. It was enormous from what I gather. It might have stood 4 feet tall. I don't recall seeing anything else other than this gray stone slab and hearing that sound.
I was in a gray fog with a girl who looked a lot like a younger version of my grandma, who's still alive today, but dressed like a pioneer in the 1800s. She didn't say anything, but kept pulling me towards an opening in the wall. I kept refusing to go because I was so tired. I finally got tired of her nagging and went, and that's when I came to. I had bled out during a C-section, and my heart could not beat without blood. They had to deliver the baby, sew up the bleeders, refill me with blood before they could restart my heart, so at least like 12 minutes gone.
Not me, but someone I know as a kid was gone for a bit during surgery. He said he saw a car driving outside carrying a coffin with signs that it was some high-profile politician who was actually alive at the moment. He came to, told his parents and doctors, but no one believed him. 2 weeks later, the politician died and was carried in the same car he saw on the street, just outside the hospital. So I guess he saw the future while briefly dead?
More of a near-death experience. I was electrocuted. I felt like I was in a deep hole looking straight up in the sky. My life flashed before me. I felt bad for my family, but I had a deep sense of peace.
I had a heart surgery with near-death experience. For me, at least, I just saw black and nothing else, but it was warm and I had such inner peace. It was weird, as I sometimes still think about it and wish this feeling of being so light and free again.
I have a near-death one. My grandma in Mexico is old, and she was in the hospital getting treated for her dementia. We were with her, and she was not remembering anything. Then out of nowhere, she looks out the door window and stares. She tells the door in Spanish, "No, not me. Not yet. Get the girl in the next room instead. I'm not going." Next thing you know, there's a code in the next room, and the girl died sometime later. We didn't know who were in the rooms around us. We think she saw La Muerte, essentially the Grim Reaper in Mexican culture, and then she went back to her dementia self.
Not me, but a close friend and coworker. He got T-boned by a car on his motorcycle, severed his femoral artery. We got him flown out to the nearest hospital. He was completely drained of blood for about 30 minutes, dead for about 20. Doctors were able to get his blood back in and heart pumping, and he's alive and well today. Before the accident, he was, I guess, an atheist, had never really thought of or mentioned religion. He said he walked through a forest with Jesus for a couple days, talked about everything and anything like old friends. Finally, he said, "How do I get to heaven? I never was religious." Jesus said, "I know. That's why you're going back." And he woke up. The man changed 180 degrees and is now a devout Christian.
I believe I died and came back once. I don't remember anything. I bled so bad and was alone 13 hours. I lost consciousness. When my family found me, I had already woken up. The EMTs told me they had no idea how I lived. I had such great blood loss. My daughter was with some friends. She was 2. They said earlier that day she gazed up and pointed, saying, "There's Mommy, go get her." I remember no NDE. I think I wasn't supposed to remember.
Died 3 times in 3 hours. Landed someplace different each time. Knew I was dead but existed. Remembered the past. All 3 times very different, very real, and seemed to last a while. I was out for 24 seconds, and then 39 seconds, and then 70 seconds in length. Not sure if I would have stayed there, don't know, but it changed my whole perspective.
My mom said she was floating above her body and looking down at it.
Not me, but my coworker had a massive heart attack and died for a few moments. He had made it to the hospital, so he survived. I asked him what it was like, and he said it was like nothing. One moment he was talking to a nurse, and then everything was just black. He said he woke up a few minutes later and didn't even know what had happened as the nurses worked on him. I found this to be really comforting, to be honest, the not being aware you died bit.
I've mentioned this before, but I had a near-death experience during childbirth. I lost a significant amount of blood and was being rushed to have a hysterectomy when my body finally started clotting and I came to. I believe they also gave me some kind of adrenaline. Anyway, it felt very, very peaceful. Everything around me got bright white and they couldn't really hear anything. I just felt very happy and at peace. No worries at all. Very surreal moment that kind of helped me get over the fear of death. I don't know why my body wanted to come back. I was fully accepting whatever was happening to me, but I'm glad I'm here with my son.
I almost drowned in the bathtub. I fell asleep. I remember the most bright, beautiful tropical colors, something I've never seen before, like a rainforest with toucans. But it was like an abstract painting. And then I heard a loud scream or sound and got up from under the water.